Heat checker.
From Cunningham.
Get her the ball. Get her the ball. One more time. Cross. A logo again.
No! Woo!
She's back.
Oh my
Most
God!
dynamic
This isn't real.
player in the game.
What?
9 points in 38 seconds for
No.
Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes.
And not only 9
What's
and
even
30,
going
but look
on?
at the depth
I
on
don't know.
these field goal
living-
attempts. She's certainly
Oh
feeling it.
my God.
Left side, right
speechless.
side.
No.
Now come back to your favorite spot
Oh.
again. It doesn't
Oh.
matter if there's a hand.
What
in
am
her
I
face.
watching?
He check. Get out of the ball. One more time. Cross again. No, she's back. Oh my God. Oh my God. This isn't real. Fire in the game. What? In 38 seconds, she hit all 3 threes. Not only look at the depth of these field attempts, she's certainly feeling left side, right side. Now come back to your favorite spot again. It doesn't matter if there's a hand. What am I watching? For weeks, the New York Liberty weren't just playing basketball. They were orchestrating a masterclass in domination. A relentless, suffocating force that crushed every team in their path. Their name, whispered with a mix of awe and dread across the WNBA, became synonymous with an almost supernatural invincibility. They weren't merely undefeated, they were unbreakable, carving a path of destruction through the league with such chilling efficiency that opponents felt their fate was sealed before the opening tip. Nobody, absolutely nobody, had managed to even dent their armor, let alone crack their code. They looked utterly unstoppable, a perfectly tuned machine, rolling through rivals as if they were mere practice dummies. The collective sigh of resignation from every other team was almost palpable.
Caitlin pulls left wing, the right wing, 30+ feet. Logo crosses over. Watch it. Oh my goodness! She is back.
Back in the lineup, I'm ready to go.
I think you're just excited more than anything. You know, it gets kind of difficult when you prepare for a game. Obviously, when I'm on the bench, still knowing the scout, knowing everything that the other team's going to do, and still trying to mentally prepare and go through everything like I'm going to play, even though I knew I wasn't going to play. So, you know, doing that, but also knowing I was going to be able to be active today, I think gives you a little extra juice. So I'm certainly excited just to get back out there, get playing, and really good opportunity for us at home here, coming off of a loss. So it's a big game.
Then the calendar turned to June 14th. A date that will forever be etched into the annals of WNBA history. This was the day a different kind of force, a prodigy sidelined by a nagging injury, made her return. What transpired next wasn't just a win, it was an unprecedented, earth-shattering demolition. A game where not one, not two, but an astonishing 8 records shattered into a million pieces. The New York Liberty's perfect season, their crowning glory, didn't just end, it was vaporized. Their once unshakable confidence utterly obliterated. But the true untold story, the one that no one, not even the experts, saw coming, was how this single monumental night became the shocking blueprint for championship basketball. A blueprint not for the reigning Titans, but for a team many had already written off, a team on the precipice of finding its destiny. If the sheer audacity of rewriting history excites you, then prepare yourself, because the curtain is about to be pulled back on one of the most astonishing comebacks and revelations in professional sports. Picture this: the New York Liberty, the defending champions, had begun June in a stratosphere of their own, boasting an immaculate 9-win, 0-loss record. They weren't merely winning games, they were dismantling teams with a suffocating defense so relentless, so meticulously executed, that it literally choked the life out of every opponent's offense. Their opponents, no matter how confident they arrived, would walk into the arena full of hope, only to leave 2 hours later looking bewildered, demoralized, and utterly beaten down. The Liberty's defense wasn't just a brick wall, it was a psychological weapon that seemed to grow taller, more impenetrable, with every passing game, turning every offensive possession into a desperate, futile struggle. Coaches would spend endless, sleepless hours drawing up intricate plays. Players would study film until their eyes ached, desperately searching for a weakness, a single crack, but nothing worked. The Liberty had an answer for everything.
You played the Liberty. There was obviously a frustrating ending. What lessons can you take from that experience, and how can that be applied to this, even though I know obviously Liberty look a little different with 2 starters out?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly you take time and score situations, you know, different versions of handling runs, offensively, defensively. Margin for error is small against a team like New York, and you know, every play matters. You know, every time we send them to the free throw line matters. Every rebound matters. You know, we can't afford to have empty possessions on the offensive end of the floor. You know, you've got to play your A game.
Look like kids.
So I think we continue to learn lessons from the first time we played them and from our last game against Atlanta, you know, every single day that we move forward. You know, I think they're a different team. Certainly we're going to be a different team having C and Sophie back on the floor. And, you know, we're going to tip the ball up and go out, and we're going to give it everything that we have.
Their pick and roll offense was a surgical masterpiece, dissecting defenses with precision and brutal efficiency. Their defensive rotations were an oppressive, relentless tidal wave, sweeping away every attempt at an opposing score. And their confidence, it was not just high, it was through the roof, radiating an aura of untouchable, almost divine power. Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, and Brianna Stewart were not simply having good seasons, they were performing at a level that made other bona fide all-stars, players at the peak of their careers, look shockingly ordinary. These three weren't just dominating, they were transcending, playing a brand of basketball that made you genuinely wonder if anyone on the planet could truly compete with them. Stewart would casually score from anywhere on the court, her shot swishing with a nonchalant ease. Ionescu would hit impossible, gravity-defying shots and unleash passes that seemed to bend time and space, passes that simply shouldn't exist. And Jones, a towering force in the paint, defended the inside with such ferocity that other elite centers appeared like bewildered, overwhelmed children, rendered utterly ineffective. The numbers screamed their dominance. Blowout victories were the norm. Their margin of victory wasn't just impressive, it was genuinely terrifying. Teams that came in ranked high in the league would routinely get blown out by 20 points or more. Even the best players in the WNBA looked like they were playing a different sport on a different planet when they faced New York. Basketball analysts on every major sports show were openly questioning how long the streak could last, not if it would end. Writers were already planning articles chronicling their inevitable perfect season. The conversation wasn't about who could beat them, it was about whether anyone even had a sliver of a chance. The league, it seemed, was merely playing for second place.
Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA. The defending champion and unbeaten New York Liberty coming to town for the second time this year as we get ready for this game. And yes, she is back. Caitlin Clark will indeed be playing today. Missed the last 5 games with a strained quad, taking on the Liberty off to their best start ever. Sabrina Ionescu and company in this big Commissioner's Cup game as well. And as usual, all the seats are filled here.
Now, I feel like this is like, we're starting a new season. You guys, I'm so proud of how resilient we've been up until this point. We're going to continue to have to be. But right now, we have an opportunity to continue to take a step forward. Okay, this can be a springboard for us, right? We're marrying energy and effort with execution. Every single possession matters. Hit singles. Hit singles. Make the easy play. All right? Make one another better. Okay? It's our time. It's our time. Let's go. Here we go. Together on 3, 1, 2, 3. Together.
Meanwhile, a starkly different narrative was unfolding for the Indiana Fever. Plagued by a string of frustrating injuries and a constantly shifting lineup, they hadn't yet found their footing, hadn't yet looked like anything remotely resembling a championship team. Their record was middling, their performances inconsistent. Most experts, eyes still fixed on the Liberty's seemingly endless perfect streak, fully expected another New York blowout. It was just another preordained victory for the reigning queens, another notch on their perfectly polished belt. But there was one critical factor, one unforeseen force that the New York Liberty, in their supreme confidence, completely failed to anticipate. The highly anticipated, almost mythical return of Caitlin Clark. She had missed the last 5 games with a strange nagging quad injury, and in her absence, the team had struggled, dipping below 500. The whispers of skepticism had grown louder, the weight of expectation on her young shoulders immense, bordering on suffocating. Yet deep within the Fever locker room, a different energy was brewing. It was a raw, resilient determination. Y'all, we have an opportunity in front of us right now. The rallying cry echoed. I feel like this is like we're starting a new season. You guys, I'm so proud of how resilient we've been up until this point. We're gonna continue to have to be, but right now we have an opportunity to continue to take a step forward. Okay, this can be a springboard for us, right? We're marrying energy and effort with execution. Every single possession matters. Hit singles, make the easy play, make one another better. Okay, it's our time. It's our time. Together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Clark herself, reflecting on her time sidelined, spoke of the mental grind. It gets kind of difficult when you prepare for a game, obviously when I'm on the bench, still knowing the scout, knowing everything that the other team's going to do, and still trying to mentally prepare and go through everything like I'm going to play, even though I knew I wasn't going to play. But now, knowing she was going to be active gives you a little extra juice. This wasn't just a pep talk, it was a defiant declaration, a unified refusal to succumb to the prevailing narrative of their struggling season, a collective commitment to seize a new beginning.
And Cunningham is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from two players with incredible up. Ball from Cunningham. Clark, another long three. She's back.
Rebound, Fever, Cunningham got knocked to the floor. Caitlin pulls left wing, buries it. She is back. 24-18, Fever down. Caitlin now from the right wing, 30 plus feet, good again. No one else but Caitlin Clark. Sedantis handoff, Caitlin from the logo, crosses over, launch it. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding?
Most dynamic player in the game. 9 points in 38 seconds for Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes.
And not only 9 in 30, but look at the depth on these field goal attempts. She certainly feels.
Then came the moment that ripped a hole in the WNBA timeline. The 38 seconds that didn't just rewrite history, but obliterated previous notions of what was possible. Clark stepped onto the court at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and immediately, an almost tangible electricity crackled in the air. You could feel it, a palpable shift, a hum of anticipation that vibrated through every seat in the arena. She wasn't just back from injury, she was a storm unleashed, ready to make a statement so profound, so undeniable that it would echo through every arena, every sports desk, every fan's mind across the league. The Liberty defense, confident in their preparation, their reputation, and their meticulously studied scouting reports, was ready for her. They had watched endless film of her impossible shots, studied her every move, every tendency, every pull-up. They believed, with unwavering conviction, that they were prepared for her fire, for what she could do. They were dead wrong. What happened next wasn't just a hot streak, it was a surgical demolition of confidence, a lightning-fast psychological blow that few teams ever recover from. 3 consecutive three-pointers, each launched from a distance that made normal defenders look utterly helpless, each swishing through the net with an almost mocking precision, a sound that cut through the roaring crowd. The first shot came from a staggering 34 feet out. Most players wouldn't even think about taking that shot, let alone pulling up like it was a routine free throw. Nothing but net. The second, a few seconds later, from 31 feet. Same result. The third, also from 31 feet. By this point, the Liberty defenders, their faces a mixture of shock and dawning horror, were literally just watching in bewildered amazement. Their impenetrable confidence, the shield they had worn for 9 straight wins, was visibly cracking, splintering before their very eyes.
Now,
And Cunningham is
Caitlin
down
from the
behind
logo.
play.
Oh my God!
But they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from 3. And Cunningham
Logo.
just now getting up as she stayed down near the free throw line on the other end.
Oh! Okay,
Just
why
coming
did
back.
he take that?
An ankle
Oh
injury,
my
and then
God!
Johannes
And of
Berry.
course, Marine Johannes
2
countered
players
it.
not
Three.
For the
credible.
logo. But this is why I
Caitlin
love
from the
NBA.
logo again! We got a shootout! We got a shootout!
Oh
Oh
Again!
my
Fourth
God!
and go.
No! No!
The crowd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted, a primal, seismic roar of disbelief and pure exhilaration. Fans were leaping out of their seats, hands thrown to the sky, their voices combining into a sonic boom that shook the very foundations of the building. You could feel the energy building with every swish, a wave of excitement that washed over the entire arena. 9 points in 38 seconds. That's not just fast scoring, that's a fundamental redefinition of what's possible in professional basketball. Think about that for a second. Most players are ecstatic to score 9 points in an entire quarter. Clark did it in less than a minute. She became the first player in WNBA history to achieve this exact breathtaking feat. Even Breanna Stewart, one of the best players in the world, a hardened veteran who has seen everything the game has to offer, a player who rarely shows emotion, couldn't help but crack a small, almost reverent smile. What she was witnessing was pure, unadulterated basketball artistry, the highest level of the game on full, unapologetic display. The Liberty, reeling, immediately called a timeout, a desperate attempt to staunch the bleeding, to regain their composure. But it was already too late. Clark hadn't just scored, she had already broken their mental game, their will. The confidence they had painstakingly built over 9 straight wins was not merely fractured, it was shattered. They came in expecting another easy victory, another step toward an inevitable perfect season. Instead, they were watching a rookie superstar dismantle their reality, rewriting the record books with every impossible shot. The Liberty had held an 11-point lead in the first quarter. After Clark's 38-second explosion, the game was tied at 24. She had single-handedly erased their entire advantage, shifting the momentum so completely and violently. It felt like a cosmic reset, a universal realignment. But here's where the story gets truly incredible, ascending beyond mere dominance into the realm of legend. Clark didn't just have a good game, she unleashed an avalanche of broken records, defying every expectation, every preconceived notion of what a player, especially a young player, could accomplish. By halftime, she had already scored 25 points, her career high in a single half, an unequivocal announcement that her 5-game absence from the quad injury was officially, dramatically, and devastatingly over. She continued her relentless assault from beyond the arc, hitting 7 3-pointers during the game, a new career high that left Liberty defenders scrambling, desperate for answers they simply couldn't find. Every time they thought they had her figured out, every time they adjusted, she'd pull up from another impossible distance and drain yet another soul-crushing shot. The Liberty coaching staff kept calling timeouts, their faces etched with frustration and disbelief, but nothing, absolutely nothing could cool her down.
I don't know if you guys have seen or heard, but Caitlin Clark is in fact back. Caitlin Clark!
Then steps back with the 3 over Breanna Stewart.
Then came the moment that placed her firmly, undeniably above WNBA legend Candace Parker. Clark finished the game with an astounding 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. This became her 3rd career game with 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. A stat line of comprehensive impact that speaks volumes. Candace Parker, a 2-time MVP, a 7-time All-Star, and one of the greatest players to ever grace the WNBA hardwood, only has 2 such games in her first 2 seasons combined. Clark, still in her rookie campaign, had just eclipsed one of the true titans of WNBA history in this elite statistical category, rewriting the benchmark for young talent. Furthermore, she became the 4th fastest player in WNBA history to reach 850 career points, achieving this monumental feat in just 45 games. For context, Cynthia Cooper, another league icon, needed 38 games. Simone Augustus, another legendary scorer, did it in 39 games. This is the rare rarefied air Clark now breathes, the company she keeps, the absolute elite scorers, the foundational pillars of league history. The truly unique, almost mythical statistical anomaly of her performance was the combination: 30 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 7 three-pointers. She became the only player in WNBA history to achieve this exact unheard of stat line. Nobody has ever put up these specific numbers in a single game. Not Sue Bird, the legendary distributor, not Diana Taurasi, the incomparable scorer, not Maya Moore, the dominant all-around talent. Nobody. Clark became the first person to ever reach this unique, unprecedented combination of stats, a testament to her unparalleled versatility and sheer offensive firepower. And if that wasn't enough, she moved into second place for most games with 50+ points scored or assisted on, tallying 9 such games in just 45 appearances. Diana Taurasi leads this category with 10 games, but she needed a staggering 565 games to get there. Clark is doing it at a pace that's absolutely mind-boggling, tracking to pass Taurasi's record before the end of this very season. This wasn't just a great performance against the defending champions. This was Clark cementing her place among the all-time greats in record time, rewriting what's possible for a young player entering this league, redefining the very definition of immediate impact.
Clark nails it. A 17-0 run.
Caitlin Clark now with 7 threes on the afternoon.
I thought Sid was fantastic today. She makes 2 huge threes for us in the second half. Soph was fantastic.
Final score, Fever 102, Liberty 88. And Caitlin Clark's return. Indiana fans, elated and amazed. The Fever are the first team to defeat the Liberty in 2025.
But here's what made this win truly special, truly transformative, elevating it beyond a mere individual highlight reel. This wasn't just the Caitlin Clark show. While Clark was busy shattering records and defying every expectation, her teammates, galvanized and emboldened by her triumphant return, were having career-defining performances of their own, rising to meet the moment. The burning question for the Fever had always been whether their supporting cast could match Clark's unparalleled energy and execution, whether they could truly become a cohesive unit rather than a one-woman show. On this night, they answered that question in the most resounding, most perfect way imaginable, proving they were a legitimate force. Lexi Hull stepped up with career highs across every single statistical category: points, rebounds, assists, steals, and perhaps most impressively, jaw-dropping shooting percentages that left spectators stunned. Hull, quietly having the best season of her career, now leads the entire league in three-point percentage, becoming an absolutely lethal deep threat. Her ability to consistently catch fire from beyond the arc created vital space for Clark's drives and opened up the entire offense, forcing defenders to spread out and choose their poison. When Hull catches fire from deep, the Fever become genuinely impossible to guard, stretching defenses to their breaking point. Aaliyah Boston too transcended expectations, showcasing her unique, almost point guard-like playmaking ability from the center position. She became the only center in the league, averaging an astounding 4.1 assists per game, a testament to her rare court vision and her pivotal role in facilitating the offense. Boston isn't just a traditional paint scorer. She sees plays develop before they happen, making passes that defy her position and elevate the team's offensive fluidity. Her ability to distribute from the center spot makes the Fever's offense fundamentally different from every other team in the league, adding an unpredictable dimension. Kelsey Mitchell, known for her clutch shooting and fearless drives, added 22 crucial points, consistently hitting big shots in the fourth quarter whenever the Liberty tried to mount a comeback run. Every time New York cut the lead, threatening to swing momentum, Mitchell would respond with a perfectly timed three-pointer or an aggressive, acrobatic driving layup, her scoring ability taking immense pressure off Clark and ensuring the Fever had multiple dangerous offensive weapons. And Sydney Colson provided crucial, steady support off the bench with 10 points and 6 assists, stepping in during pivotal moments and never looking out of place. Her consistent, poised contributions vividly demonstrated just how deep and resilient this Fever roster truly is, proving their depth wasn't just on paper. The ball movement throughout the game was crisp, almost telepathic, a symphony of passes and cuts. The defense was suffocating, a mirror image of the Liberty's own notorious wall, but turned against them. Every single player knew exactly what their role was, executing with precision and unwavering focus. The Fever, far from being overwhelmed, dictated the pace, forcing the Liberty to play at their rhythm. They expertly disrupted New York's vaunted pick-and-roll offense with smart, aggressive defensive adjustments, taking away the mismatches that the Liberty normally exploited so easily. This right here was the definitive blueprint for championship basketball. Not just one superstar carrying the load, but stars being stars, while role players elevate their games to unforeseen heights, creating an unstoppable collective. As Coach Stephanie White emphasized after the game, this group, they stay together, they encourage one another, they draw strength from one another. This team-first mentality wasn't just a slogan, it was a tangible, living, breathing, winning formula, put on breathtaking display for the entire league to witness. When everyone fires on all cylinders like this, truly committing to each other, the Fever transformed from a good team into a bona fide championship contender, a legitimate threat. The chemistry was undeniable, the execution flawless, and the confidence, once wavering, was now soaring, contagious among the entire squad. The final score told the definitive tale. Fever 102, Liberty 88. The New York Liberty, for the first time all season, were defeated. But this was more than just a win. This was the Fever showing the entire WNBA definitively that they had figured out the championship formula. Caitlin Clark breaking 8 records in a single electrifying night, while her teammates reached career highs and seamlessly elevated their own games, created something truly extraordinary, something that transcended a mere victory. The Liberty's perfect season ended, their aura of invincibility shattered. But more importantly, the Indiana Fever just proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that they can beat anyone when they play their brand of unified electrifying basketball. They moved to 5 wins and 5 losses, dramatically seizing first place in the Eastern Conference standings for the Commissioner's Cup, a significant early season prize. This single game didn't just end a streak, it ignited a new narrative, reshaping the competitive landscape. With Clark shattering records and her teammates reaching unprecedented heights, the 2025 WNBA season just became infinitely more interesting, a truly unpredictable battle for supremacy. The echoes of this night, this seismic shift, will reverberate for seasons to come. Was this merely a singular, epic performance? A fleeting moment of brilliance? Or was it the thunderous beginning of a new dynasty? The foundational spark for a rivalry that will define an entire generation of WNBA basketball, setting a new standard for excellence and drama. Like, subscribe and turn on all notifications so you never miss out on the unfolding drama. Click the video on the screen and we will see you in the next one as this story continues to unfold.